Chodesh Tov, Happy Sivan, and welcome to the Temple Beth Torah Kitchen. I'm Cantor Chesler. If you forget, my name's right here. I'm going to demonstrate today how to make a basic New York style cheesecake. And I have all the ingredients here right here in the kitchen, and we're going to begin in just a moment. I want to give you just a few pointers. One of the things I love to do is use standard parchment paper. When you're putting your springform pan, you're assembling the two pieces. You're going to take a piece of parchment paper, big enough to cover the round pan, like so. You put it over the pan, the bottom of it, and then you insert that piece into the round ring and lock it. Okay, there's a locking device on the side. Okay, push the paper down a little bit, and then you've got paper here. This makes it a lot easier removing the cake when it's time to take it from the bottom, not necessarily the sides, but from the bottom, you can get the cake out of the pan very easily. Another thing I'd like to demonstrate, give you a pointer about, is the kind of attachment you're going to be using on your beater. Okay, you have two choices. You can use a flat paddle or a whisk kind of a beater. You want to use a flat paddle because more air is put in the batter when you use a whisk. You want less air so the cake doesn't crack. Cheesecake has a tendency when it settles after it's baked to crack. If you use a flat paddle, there won't be as much air in your batter, so you want to attach your flat paddle. And the other thing I'm going to say is you can freeze, two other pointers actually. You can freeze cheesecake, you can freeze it in portions, and it freezes very beautifully, but if you do freeze it, you want to freeze it in saran wrap first, the plastic wrap, and then 2 coatings of foil, tin foil, and then you can put it in a bag like a Ziploc. And you can freeze it in halves and quarters. You don't have to eat the whole thing at once, and it freezes very well for quite a long time. The other pointer is, from the big box stores, if you can buy this size cheese, cream cheese, certainly buy the brand. Do not buy a generic. When you use Philadelphia brand cream cheese, is the best. This is the equivalent of 6 bars that are this size, 6 bars, and it's $6.99. So the average price of your bar when you buy this kind of box, it's the 6 packages, is a little over $1, maybe $1.15 a package. Standard Philadelphia cream cheese in the grocery is about $2.50 to $3.50 a bar. This is a great buy, great deal, and the price has not gone up in several years at Costco. So it looks like an enormous brick of cream cheese. And one other pointer. Just a moment. That was it on my questions. First thing we're going to do, we're going to take our springform pan, and we have melted butter in it, and we're going to add 2 other things to it. Sugar, and on our recipe, it's about a half a cup of sugar. This is a cup measurement. I'm going to have about a half a cup of sugar in here, and also a cup and a half of standard graham cracker crumbs. A cup and a half of standard graham cracker crumbs. I'm going to measure out and dump into the springform pan, prepared pan, and I'm going to mix it all up and press it down and then bake it. Putting in a cup and a half. I've already melted my butter. Don't use margarine, I say margarine. It's butter, real butter, unsalted butter. You can melt the butter in the microwave or on the stove top and mix this all together. You can use a rubber spatula to do that, and do that right now, and then press it down to the bottom of the springform pan, so you've got your crust, and then it's going to be baked. So I'm mixing it up here in the pan, the sugar, melted butter, and the graham cracker crumbs, mixing it evenly, and I'm also not trying to not rip parchment. Okay? all getting mixed evenly together. As I'm doing this, I'm being very careful not to rip parchment. So doing so, I'm getting all the butter, graham crackers, crumbs, and the sugar mixed together. And then I'm going to flatten it out on the bottom of the springform pan so it's all mixed nicely. And that's going to be my crust on the bottom of the pan. And we're going to bake it in just a moment. So one thing to note is if you have one of these dark non-stick springform pans, you want to make sure you set the oven on 300. If you have a silver, like a stainless steel springform pan, you want to set the oven on 325. So obviously the metal, these different kinds of metal conduct heat differently. So the dark springform pan is going to be 300 degrees and the stainless steel is going to be 325. So now it's all mixed pretty evenly, and we're going to take our hand, our clean hand, we've been washing a lot, and we're going to press. You can use the spatula or you can use the heel of your hand to press the crumbs into the pan. So it's all even, and you can push it up the sides a little bit so you've got a little bit of the crust going up the sides, which looks lovely and also tastes very good in the finished cake. So it's just about ready, and in a second I'm going to put it in the oven, the prepared preheated oven here at the synagogue, which is on 300 degrees because I'm using the dark non-stick springform pan. Okay, so it's all pressed down evenly, pretty much, and we're going to stick it in the oven. Right here for 10 minutes to bake, and the oven is set on 300. Put on our timer for 10 minutes, and then we're going to get started on the actual batter. So now we prepare the cake itself. We're going to take our enormous 5 bricks of cream cheese and put them in this mixing bowl right here. So I've scored them, I've cut them into sections so it's easier to beat them. Here they are, 5 packages of cream cheese. This is not for people with heart conditions. And you're going to get all of that in the mixing bowl, mash it on down, and start to stir it up. You're going to add a few choice ingredients, sugar, flour. Oh, 1 second, I have to plug in our mixer. Makes sense when the mixer's plugged in. Okay. And we're going to add, in this order, as the cream cheese is beating about. It's been sitting out for almost 2 hours. You want to use softened cream cheese always. And we're going to add, with the cream cheese, a cup of sugar. Okay. And we're going to add flour, which is 3 tablespoons of flour. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. And we're going to beat this, and the vanilla. 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Make sure it's all getting beat up. add vanilla, turn your mixer down. Okay. Then when this is all thoroughly mixed, turn it off for a second and scrape the sides so everything gets mixed evenly. You're going to add the eggs after all of this is all mixed up nice and thoroughly. Okay. All right. Mix it up. As soon as this is mixed up, add the eggs one at a time. Remember, with kosher cooking and baking, you check your eggs before you add them. We're going to do that. One egg at a time. Okay, so I've got my 4 eggs right here. Second. And we're going to crack them into a transparent cup so we can see that there's no blood and there's no eggshell. Okay, you check for blood above and below and no eggshell. And then you can add 1 egg at a time, and there's 4 eggs. 1. 2. I'm scraping the sides as well so it's all mixed evenly. 3. Such a great job on cracking that one, but we didn't get any eggshell in. 4. And just double checking. And the last thing we're going to add is sour cream. Measure out, I think this is about a cup, what I have in my sour cream here. Add that into the mix. It's a little lumpy. All right, get mixed in. Make it nice. And you want to beat it all up till it's all just mixed in together, not too much. You don't want to overbeat it. That puts more air in your batter and more of a tendency to crack. So how does it look? Good. Make sure it's all mixed up. Then we're going to put it in our ready crust. It's been out of the oven for a few minutes. And we're going to bake it. And the way I get the last of the batter off the beater is I just lift this up a little bit and go on slow. Try to get some of that batter off the beater. Scrape my batter here. And if there's cream cheese lumps up here, which there are, we're going to beat it up again. Pour it, scrape the sides to get all that excess cream cheese that hasn't beaten up as thoroughly as it should off the batter and off the bottom of the bowl. Mix that all up. Do one more good whipping. All those cream cheese lumps are out of there. Don't want any cream cheese lumps in your cheesecake. It's pretty good. Turn it down. Get that batter off your beater. And we're almost ready to put it in the oven. Just a moment. I'm going to get all this batter off. This beater. And the best part, of course, is licking the batter at the end. My daughter's not here. She likes to do that, but she's not a cheesecake fan. But the other members of my family are cheesecake fans, which is good. I make a lot of cheesecake for Shavuot, which is this coming Thursday. So, just about ready to put it in our ready-made crust. Grab that and show you what to do. All the here are. Here's our beautiful crust, and we're going to fill this with, some people put, they spray the nonstick stuff on the side. I don't do that. I just take a knife when it's finished. Get the cake out with a knife. I'm going to take my batter now, it looks like this, and pour it into my prepared crust, like so. You can see what I'm doing here. And it's a lot. It's going to look like it's going to flood over the top of this pan while it's baking, and it will, but then it'll come back down in the cooling process. When you take it out of the oven at the end, it's going to be pretty high up. Probably will have risen above the height of this pan. Do this here. Get all the batter out of this bowl. Scrape the sides. So I'm getting all the batter out. And into the pan. Smooth it down a little bit. And then I'll put it in the oven. And it's going to bake. If you have a non-stick pan, directions are going to be on the PDF. There's a recipe attached to this video, and just make sure you put it in the right temperature. Again, 65 to 70 minutes to bake this in the oven. When it's the dark non-stick pan, it's going to be on 300. When it's the silver stainless steel pan, it's going to be on 325 for 65 to 70 minutes. How do you know when it's done? It's just about set in the center. It's going to be slightly jiggly when you take it out of the oven. Not quite set, but that's okay. It'll settle a lot as it cools off, and then it's ready to eat in about 4 hours. All right, so it looks like this. Oh, yum, yum, yum. It's going to go in the oven now. Quite ready to eat. And here we are at the TBT oven. I'm going to put it in, and in about 70 minutes, it'll be magically finished. Okay. We are ready to take our cake out of the oven. I'm so excited. Let's see if it cracked. That's always the question. It is beautiful. And you notice it did crack around the sides, around the edge, but as it settles, that crack will not be so noticeable. In the center, it is not cracked. Looks delicious. Close the oven, turned it off, and now you're going to see what it looks like, how you can actually freeze it in half. This is a cake that I took from the freezer, frozen for a while, but nonetheless, looks delicious. You can see the graham cracker crust, and you can see how it browned around the edges. This cake, of course, did crack. You can see that kind of in the center, but that's okay. It still tastes really good. And my recommendation is berries of any kind, strawberries, blueberries, and whipped cream. And it's not low calorie, sorry. Anyway, delicious, enjoy, and Chag Sameach. Have a great Shavuot.